Stop, don't touch your phone. If the first thing you do after waking up is let the world speak into your mind, you've already been controlled before you even leave your bed. Control doesn't look like a prison, it looks like a quick check. One notification, one headline, one message that isn't even urgent, yet it steals your direction. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he feared one enemy more than any army, a mind that reacts. So every morning before the noise, he drew a line in his journal. What is mine to command and what is not? Because the day will try to govern you. People will rush you. Problems will demand you. Your own impulses will bargain with you. And if you begin the morning without choosing your inner rule, you will spend the rest of the day obeying someone else's. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The first 10 minutes after you wake up, decide who you belong to your values or to your cravings, to your purpose, or to the next distraction. In the next minutes, I'll show you the one morning habit Marcus used to stay unshakable, a 7-minute ritual that turns your mind from a target into a fortress. Part 1, the dichotomy. It starts the same way every day you wake up, and the world reaches for the steering wheel. A notification buzzes like a tiny leash. A headline spikes your pulse. A message pulls you into someone else's urgency. And before you've even sat up, your attention has already been rented out. That's the trap behind the title, Miss This Morning Habit, and you'll always be controlled. Controlled by moods, controlled by other people, controlled by the noise you didn't choose. Now picture Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, commander, philosopher, waking before dawn in a military camp on the cold frontier. No comfort, no silence guaranteed, only pressure, war reports, political betrayal, disease. And yet he wrote to himself not because life was easy, but because life was hard. He understood something most people never learn. Freedom begins with a boundary line. So here's where part 1 begins. Marcus would draw a line mentally instantly before the day drew one for him. He would ask a question that sounds simple but hits like a blade. What is in my control today? Not what do I want, not what might happen, not what will people think, just control. And his list would be ruthless, my judgments, my actions, my attitude, my effort. Then the second question, equally brutal, what is not other people's moods, traffic, outcomes, the past, the opinions of strangers? Take a breath with me, slow and slow out, because this is your first reset. The world trains you to blur that line. Stoicism trains you to sharpen it. Say it with me out loud like you mean it. I will not trade my peace for what I cannot command. Again, slower, I will not trade my peace for what I cannot command. That sentence doesn't sound dramatic, but it cuts suffering in half because half your suffering comes from trying to control what was never yours. Here's the shock: many people live like emotional employees waiting for the world to approve their mood. If traffic is bad, they're late and angry. If someone is rude, they're hurt and reactive. If a plan fails, they lose the plan and their self-respect. That's how control works. The event happens. And then you hand it a second weapon, your interpretation. Marcus would say in his calm iron tone, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Hold that line in your head like a sword, because the moment you forget it, the day writes you a script. Panic here, complain there, spiral now, regret later. Reset number 2, 45 seconds from now. I want you to feel this: unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, and ask quietly, is this mine? When the answer is no, you release it. When the answer is yes, you command it. Let's make this real. Imagine you post something online. You refresh. No likes. Someone comments something sharp, and suddenly your mood is on trial. If a stranger can press keys and control your peace, you are not free, you are programmable. Epictetus warned it plainly. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. That's the dichotomy in action. Now the useful part, the habit you can actually do tomorrow morning. It takes 60 seconds. Step 1, write 2 columns on paper or in your notes app after you do this, not before. Column A, in my control. Column B, not in my control. Put 3 items in each quickly. Don't overthink. Step 2, choose one controlled action for the next hour, something small but decisive. Example, I control my attention, so I will not check my phone for the first 30 minutes. Or I control my effort, so I will do the hardest task first for 10 minutes. You're proving to your nervous system that you are the one holding the leash. Step 3. Repeat the sentence again. This is your dopamine reset your anchor. I will not trade my peace for what I cannot command. Because when you miss this habit, you don't just lose a morning, you lose the ability to choose. And that's the definition of being controlled. Now here's the cliffhanger. Drawing the line is not enough. You can know what you control and still get crushed by what you didn't prepare for. That's why Marcus didn't stop at boundaries, he moved to prediction. In part 2, we'll do what Stoics do best. We won't manifest perfection. We'll forecast friction so the day can't ambush you. If you're ready to stop being surprised, stay with me. Quick CTA before we move on. If this hit you, tap. Like so, it reaches someone who's living on autopilot. Subscribe for the next part because part 2 is where we turn calm into armor. Part 2, the forecast. Most people wake up and hope for a smooth day. Stoics wake up and prepare for impact. That single difference decides whether you live as a ruler or as a reactor. And that's why the title keeps proving true. Miss this morning habit and you'll always be controlled. Because if you don't forecast friction, friction will forecast your behavior. It will choose your tone. It will choose your impulse. It will decide what you chase and what you regret. Think about your last bad day. Was it one giant disaster, or was it a stack of small frictions arriving at the wrong time until you snapped a message with the wrong tone? A delay when you were already late. A craving when you were already tired. The event wasn't always big. The surprise was. Surprise is how the world steals your steering wheel. Reset with me, inhale, exhale, and say it clearly. Friction is not a surprise. It's the curriculum. Again, friction is not a surprise. It's the curriculum. Marcus Aurelius wrote about mornings like a man who had seen humanity up close. War, sickness, betrayal, politics, grief. He didn't write self-help slogans. He wrote battle instructions for the mind. There's a famous Stoic morning reminder he returns to again and again. You will meet difficult people. You will face delays. You will feel tired. Not because you're unlucky, because you're alive. And here's the shock. If you wake up expecting the world to be gentle, you become fragile. But if you wake up expecting friction, you become prepared. That's why Stoics don't manifest perfection. They forecast reality. So here's a simple question that changes everything. Every morning ask, what is the most likely obstacle today? Not the worst case nightmare, not the fantasy disaster. The most likely obstacle, the one you will actually meet. A rude comment, a sudden problem, a plan that fails, a temptation that returns, a delay that steals your time, a wave of fatigue, a craving to scroll. That's your short list. Now the rule, once you name it, you decide in advance. When it happens, I will respond with virtue. Not with revenge, not with collapse, not with drama. With virtue, calm, discipline, justice, wisdom. Reset, say it with me. If it happens, I already know what I'll do. Again, slower. If it happens, I already know what I'll do. Let's ground this with numbers because reality has receipts. In the US, INRIX reported that drivers lost an average of 43 hours to congestion in 2024, about a full work week costing about $771 per driver and totaling over 4 billion hours and $74 billion in lost time nationwide. That isn't just traffic. That's 4 billion hours of people being tested. And most people fail the test because they arrive unforecasted. Here's how the non-Stoic handles traffic. This is ruining my day. They arrive already angry. Their day becomes a revenge story against reality. Here's how the Stoic handles traffic. Delay is expected. Character is chosen. Reset, breath in, breath out. Say it with me, I can be delayed without being diminished. Again, I can be delayed without being diminished. Now imagine another obstacle criticism. You submit work. Someone replies, this isn't good enough. Your body reacts faster than your brain heat, tight throat, urge to defend, urge to attack. But you forecasted it, so you already have your response installed. You pause for 3 seconds. You ask one question. Is there truth here? If yes, you improve. If no, you release it. Either way, you stay in control. Epictetus warned, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments. The comment is the thing. Your judgment is the fire. Forecasting is how you stop lighting yourself on fire. Reset, say it with me, I don't repay friction with fire. Again, I don't repay friction with fire. Now here's the practical technique that makes this work in real life, an if-then plan. Scientists call it an implementation intention. Stoics would call it discipline. It's one sentence that pre-installs your best self. Write it like this: if the obstacle happens, then I will do this virtuous action. Examples steal these word for word. If I'm criticized, then I pause, breathe once, and ask what part is true. If my plan fails, then I adapt without complaining for 1 full minute. If I feel the urge to scroll, then I place my phone face down and do 2 minutes of the task. If I meet disrespect, then I keep my voice low and my words few. If I feel tired, then I do the next right thing, not the easiest escape. That's not motivation. That's programming. But here's the twist: you're programming yourself so the world can't do it first. Reset, say it with me. Surprise makes slaves. Preparation makes rulers. Again, surprise makes slaves. Preparation makes rulers. Now let's talk about the most common controller of all temptation. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind. Just 5 minutes. One video becomes an hour. One snack becomes a spiral. One scroll becomes numbness. And then you wake up from it with that ugly feeling, not just wasted time, lost self-respect. So you forecast it like a stoic: today, the temptation will return. And then you decide, when it returns, I will respond with virtue. Here's a practical micro tool, the 10-second gate. When the urge hits, don't argue, don't negotiate, just delay 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, inhale for 4, exhale for 6, then make one tiny move in the right direction. Stand up, drink water, open the document, walk to the sink, put the phone away. 10 seconds breaks the spell, because control thrives in immediacy. Reset, say it with me. I don't obey the first urge. Again, I don't obey the first urge. Now, difficult people. Marcus literally prepared for them in the morning because he knew something uncomfortable people will do. People things. Someone will be impatient. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will try to pull you into drama. If you wake up unforecasted, you think, how could they? And you burn energy on shock. If you wake up forecasted, you think, of course, and you protect your mind. So say it plainly: today someone may test me, and decide now, when they do, I will not become them. Seneca's warning fits here like a lock. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Calm is not weakness. Calm is refusal. Refusal to be controlled. Reset, breathe, say it with me. I refuse to become ugly under pressure. Again, I refuse to become ugly under pressure. One more layer: forecast your energy dip. Because fatigue makes you controllable. When you're tired, you say yes to things you don't respect. When you're tired, you chase comfort. When you're tired, you become short-tempered. So ask, when will my energy drop today? Pick a time. Then decide your response in advance: 2-minute walk. Water 3 slow breaths, or switch to a simpler task without quitting the mission. Reset, say it with me. I protect my energy to protect my character. Again, I protect my energy to protect my character. Now here's your full stoic forecast in 1 minute. Ready? Bonter, name the obstacle. The most likely friction today is 2. Name your warning sign. When I start slipping, I will notice. Tight chest, fast scrolling, sharp tone excuses. 3. Choose the virtuous response. When I notice it, I will pause, breathe, speak slowly, return to task for 2 minutes. That's it. Do that before the world enters your mind. And now the bridge to the next part, because forecasting is powerful, but it's not complete. Forecasting prepares you for what will happen, but you still need to decide who you will be when it happens. That's where control truly breaks, at the level of identity. So in part 3, the virtue intention, we'll choose one virtue like armor and write one line that defines your day. Not motivation, identity. Quick CTA before you move on: if this hit you, tap. Like so it reaches someone living on autopilot. Subscribe for part 3 and comment one word: your most likely obstacle today. Delay, distraction, criticism, temptation, fatigue. Naming it is the first forecast, and the first forecast is the first step to freedom. Part 3, the virtue intention. You've drawn the boundary line. You've forecasted the friction. Now comes the final piece. The one that turns a calm morning into an unbreakable day. The virtue intention. Because control doesn't just come from what happens to you. Control comes from who you become when it happens. And that's why the title keeps warning you: miss this morning habit and you'll always be controlled. If you don't choose your identity in the morning, the world will choose it for you by lunchtime. Think about it. Most people don't wake up and decide, today I will be reactive. They just drift into it. They let the first message set the tone, the first delay set the mood, the first temptation set the direction. That's not personality, that's programming. Reset with me, inhale, exhale, and say it like a vow. I act from principle, not from pressure. Again, I act from principle, not from pressure. Marcus Aurelius didn't rely on motivation. Motivation is weather. Some days it's sunny, some days it disappears. Marcus relied on something harder: character. He treated virtue like armor because he lived in a world that could break you if you were soft. He wrote to himself, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That line is ruthless. It doesn't ask how you feel. It asks who you are. So here's the Stoic move: choose one virtue for the day. Not 10. One. Because one virtue is enough to steer 100 choices. The 4 classic Stoic virtues are your menu: simple, sharp, timeless. Discipline. I do what must be done, whether I feel like it or not. Courage, I do it even when I'm afraid. Justice, I don't become cruel because life is hard. Wisdom, I don't confuse noise with truth. Here's why this matters: your day is a storm of micro decisions. What you click, what you avoid, what you say, what you delay. Discussions around decision fatigue note. We make countless choices daily. The exact count varies, but the principle is clear. Too many unfiltered decisions drains you and makes you easier to push around. Without a guiding virtue, your choices become random. And randomness is easy to control. Now imagine Marcus before dawn, not on a throne, but alone with a wax tablet. Outside, soldiers war chaos. Inside, the more dangerous battlefield is mind. He didn't ask, how do I win approval today? He asked, how do I stay good today? Because an emperor who can't govern himself is just a powerful slave. Reset again. Say it with me. Character is my kingdom. Again, character is my kingdom. Now here's the practice you'll do every morning, 2 minutes maximum. Step 1, choose your virtue for today. One word: discipline, courage, justice, wisdom. Step 2, write one line that starts with, today I will be the kind of person who, and finish it with a behavior concrete, visible, undeniable. Today I will be the kind of person who doesn't argue with fools. Today I will be the kind of person who doesn't chase validation. Today I will be the kind of person who doesn't abandon the task. Today I will be the kind of person who doesn't betray values for comfort. Today I will be the kind of person who does the difficult thing first. Today I will be the kind of person who speaks calmly when provoked. Today I will be the kind of person who keeps promises even when inconvenient. This is not motivation. Motivation is a mood. This is identity. And identity breaks control because the world can't easily manipulate someone who knows who they are. Here's the uncomfortable truth: most self-betrayal is quiet. It doesn't look like a dramatic collapse. It looks like a small compromise that you justify. Just this once. It's not a big deal. I deserve it. And then later you feel something worse than guilt: emptiness, because you didn't lose to the world, you lost to a weaker version of yourself. Seneca warned, no man is free who is not master of himself. And that's the entire point of virtue intention: self-mastery before the day tries to master you. Reset with me again. Inhale, exhale, and say, I don't negotiate my values. Again, I don't negotiate my values. Now we make it actionable with a simple 3-part lock. This is where people change. 1, virtue, pick one. 2, situation, pick one friction from your forecast. 3, behavior, choose the virtuous response you will perform. Examples, choose what fits you. Virtue, discipline. Situation, procrastination. Behavior, I start for 5 minutes no matter what. Virtue, courage. Situation, a hard conversation. Behavior, I speak clearly, kindly, and directly. Virtue, justice. Situation, someone annoys me. Behavior, I correct without humiliating. Virtue, wisdom. Situation, online drama. Behavior, I don't feed it. I don't scroll it. I don't absorb it. Now your dopamine reset, say it with me. 5 minutes is a vote for the person I'm becoming. Again, slower. 5 minutes is a vote for the person I'm becoming. Because identity changes through votes, not speeches. Every time you act with virtue, you cast a vote. Every time you abandon it, you cast a vote for weakness. The world controls you when your votes are inconsistent because then any trigger can swing you. Let me give you a quick emotional scene. You're about to respond to a rude message. Your fingers are hovering over the keyboard. Your ego wants to win. Your virtue wants to stay clean. This is the moment your philosophy becomes real. The Stoic doesn't ask, what will make me feel powerful? He asks, what will make me respectable tomorrow morning? Marcus would remind himself, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Not because pain isn't real, but because meaning is chosen. Your response is chosen. Reset again. Say it with me, I choose my response. Again, I choose my response. Now tie it back to the title one final time. Miss this morning habit and you'll always be controlled. Controlled by craving. Controlled by criticism. Controlled by the opinions of strangers. Controlled by fatigue. Controlled by the need to be seen. But when you choose your virtue intention, you stop being rentable. You stop being programmable. You become the kind of person who can walk through noise without becoming noise. So here's your full morning ritual. Say it like a commander. Dichotomy, what is mine to control forecast? What friction is likely today? Virtue intention. Who will I be when it arrives? That's it. That's the habit. That's the steering wheel. Now your practical challenge for tomorrow morning, before your phone, before the world, write one line today. I will be the kind of person who choose one virtue, choose one behavior, and then prove it once, just once within the first hour, because the first hour sets the pattern. If you want, I'll make a second video, the night habit that makes your mind unbreakable. But for now, try the Stoic drill for 7 days. Comment sovereign if you're doing it. And if this helped you reclaim your morning, share it with one person who feels controlled. Subscribe to Making Life Better because discipline isn't a mood, it's a practice.